we want to show you why, we want to show you, first of all, our new route that we have. So we have a new tour that we're running between Denver and Moab. So it's Denver, Colorado, and Moab, Utah. We want to show you some of the photos that we've taken over the years on this route. I've actually been guiding commercially on this route since 2003. And I know the area very, very well. So I truly believe that Canada Rail Vacations is your best tour provider for this specific route, this Denver to Moab route, simply from our experience. Now, I know coming out of a pandemic, most travel has been very close to home, and we're hoping by August 2021, things will be open, and we want you to be awed by the US Southwest. Now, a little bit about us. My name is Martin Flanagan. I started Canada Rail Vacations company in 1995. And together with my wife, Heather, we've run this company. We've brought in over 10,000 clients throughout the years. And I know Matthias, who's online with us right now, Matthias, we brought many hundreds of his clients here to see Western Canada and the US with us over the years. In the early days, I was the tour guide. So right up until from 95 to 2011, I was the one guiding every tour. And what that did for me, it allowed me to see the tour from the client's perspective. I was on the ground with every client. I was hearing their opinions. I was seeing their expressions. I was being awed with them. And throughout that time, I learned a lot about what we're offering. I learned a lot about the hotels we're using, our sightseeing providers, the buses, trains. And this has been very important because we brought this further into the company that all of our staff are providing tours in such a way, or creating tours in such a way based upon my experience for many years. We're based out in Calgary, Canada, and I'm presently right now in the mountains as we speak. Now, I know some of you have dealt with our travel professionals, our small team. I'll introduce them from left to right. You've got Dalton Feltham on the left there. This is us at Lake Louise in December. Me next in line, Spencer with the hockey stick, Spencer Arsenault. Many of you have spoken with Spencer over the years. He's worked for us for over 5 years. And Cassandra Woods. Cassandra is the one who put together our presentation today. So thank you very much for doing this, Cassandra. You'll be speaking to Cassandra on the phone too, and she'll be helping you put together your own trip of a lifetime, really. Now, the US Southwest and what makes this area so special for us in the US Southwest, I've spent a lot of time here over the years. This is a photo of my sister and I while we were cycling, and I've been to the Moab area over 20 times. And this is going from traveling by myself, traveling with my wife, with my sister, my parents, my nephews. This has been hiking, mountain biking, road biking, and of course, commercially, bringing tour groups to this area. I love showing off the beauty of the US Southwest because it truly is spectacular. And let's face it, right now where we are in a pandemic at this point, the borders may remain closed. We're unaware of that. And if the borders do remain closed further, this is a perfect place for Americans to come see your backyard. And I really believe that we are one of the best providers to show you Americans how amazing your own country really is. My sister and I have traveled all over the world together. My sister and I hitchhiked once through all of Eastern Europe. And the adventures and misadventures of Martin and Elaine have always been spectacular. And even if you ask one of us right now, best bike ride of your life, we would probably both say this specific ride over the La Salle Mountains and back around to Moab was truly one of our most epic bike rides we've ever done. Now, travel after COVID, let's face it, let's travel like it was 2019 again. Many of us have been sitting around. I don't need to tell you how difficult this pandemic has been for everyone. You're living it, you've lived it, you're living it. But I will say that the same way the pandemic is a once in a lifetime experience, traveling after one will be as well. Now, this photo here is Monument Valley. This is in one of the areas that we're going to be showing you during your tours with us. Monument Valley is a half day drive from Moab, and an amazing area with some spectacular scenery. A little bit about the route that we're doing and where the train is running. The train will be running between Denver and Moab. So if you look on the map here, Denver on your far right, Denver will be one of the starting and stopping locations. The train only travels by day, so it's the Rocky Mountaineer train, the exact same train cars that you've been riding on in Canada. You'd be overnighting in Glenwood Springs. You're not going to be sleeping on the train. You don't want to sleep through that scenery. You're going to be traveling daylight only, one night in Glenwood Springs, and then carrying on down to Moab. And then from Moab, you can see Moab is a starting or ending point for many other adventures. Canyonlands National Park is 1 hour drive away. Dead Horse Point State Park is literally 20-minute drive away. Arches National Park is right around the area. Bryce Canyon's 1 day drive away. Zion Canyon 1 day drive away. And Las Vegas and Salt Lake City are the two major airports you can fly in and out of. However, you can also fly to Moab from Denver. So there are regular flights, and there's a regular shuttle running from the airport. So it is an easy starting and ending location. So it really makes a perfect tour with some spectacular scenery. And I'll take you through and show you some of the scenery on our slides here as we go through. Now, Denver and the gateway of the Rocky Mountains. I see Alina is on this webinar today too. And Alina, we worked together on a trip to Denver years and years and years ago. I'd say it was probably 2003. But gateway to the Rocky Mountains, Denver, I'll name a few things: Red Rocks Amphitheater, Denver Broncos, Colorado Avalanche. Denver's the largest airport in North America. It's the second largest airport in the world. Coors Beer, have you ever heard of Coors Beer? Since 1873, they've been brewing beer in Golden, Colorado, just south of Denver. In the area, you've got Pikes Peak, Mount Evans. And for us growing up in Calgary, Denver was a dream of mine to visit. I remember I was 10 years old when U2 had that Live Under a Blood Red Sky video that went crazy on MTV, where they were singing in an outdoor amphitheater. That's Red Rocks Amphitheater. And I would truly recommend going 1 or 2 days early. If any of those things I just mentioned, if you're interested in hockey, football, Denver Nuggets, any of the sports events or a live concert, if you want to go early or stay later in Denver, there's lots to do and see there. So definitely recommend that one. No, being a railway buff myself, I always love railway stations. Denver's Union Station has been right here on this site since 1881. This historic station, which is still standing, was built in 1914. And I brought all my tour groups, even when we're not riding the train, down to see the station because it's a historic building, important for Denver. This is where we're boarding the train. And if you look in the windows of the train station, you can see one of the hotels right there. There's the Kimpton Hotel is attached to the train station. There's a number of different hotels right here. So we're going to be booking you at one of the closed hotels. Actually, the Crawford Hotel is also right there attached to the Union Station, as you can see on this photo here too. So on we board. And departing Denver, here's where Martin, the tour guide, kicks in. You're looking back on the city of Denver. You've just crossed the South Platte River. You're looking straight ahead. You're looking at 3 big peaks. The one on the right is Long's Peak. That's Mount Evans straight ahead. And to the left is Pikes Peak. And the reason I name these 3 is they're over 14,000 feet in height. By comparison, here in Canada, in all of our provinces of Canada, we only have 1 point over 14,000 feet. And they're right there leaving Denver. You can see 3 of them, and there are many others in the surrounding area. Up in the Northern Territories of Yukon, we do have a lot of plus 14,000 foot mountains, but Mount Fairweather, which borders on the BC Alaska border, is the only one in the south of Canada that is over 14,000 feet. So a very special view that you're going to be having as you carry on. And for those of you who have traveled on the Rocky Mountain here before, the toast, the champagne toast every morning as we raise our orange glass or our peach bubbly to say, let's look ahead at this amazing journey that we've got ahead of us for the next couple of days. I personally traveled on the Rocky Mountain here 13 times. I love every time that I do it. It is such a spectacular train. I love the experience. I love the staff. They're so warm and inviting. And the staff are going to provide you with a narrated journey as you travel over these mountains, learning all about this area, and then descending down into Moab. You'll learn more about that side of the mountains as you cross over. Now, Rocky Mountaineer is offering Silverleaf and Silverleaf Plus as the levels of service on this route. Now, it's a 2-day rail route between Denver and Moab. And Silverleaf, you may have heard of Goldleaf before, or those of you who have traveled with us in Canada, you've probably traveled in Goldleaf or seen the Goldleaf cars. The Goldleaf is a bi-level dome car. The bi-level dome is too tall. It's not going to fit through some of the tunnels, especially as you go through Ruby Canyon. So Silverleaf only. However, what I love about Silverleaf is there's more room to stand up. As you can see, you've still got the raised glass dome on the top. So you've got lots of space there. You've got more legroom. So it's 56 seats per train car. And then you see this new one called Silverleaf Plus. Silverleaf Plus is something brand new with Rocky Mountaineer. Silverleaf Plus will provide private access to the lounge car on the train, and you'll have your own mixologist making you the most amazing drinks. So you're going to have to ask them about a Denver Mule, or they'll make you a mocktail or a cocktail to your choice, and you're going to have elevated dining in the Silverleaf Plus. Just something a little bit more special in your meals. But any meal I've ever had on Rocky Mountaineer has been phenomenal. Now, I have traveled with Silverleaf, and this is me and my wife, Heather, taking my grandmother on the train. A very, very special journey for us. We did this in August of 2011. For my grandmother, it was a trip of a lifetime. And for us, it was memories we'll never forget. And part of that, 3 months later, my grandmother was no longer with us. But just the journey, spending 2 full days with your family in a train, there's something absolutely magical about that. It's probably the reason why I'm just so much in love with creating these amazing tours, showcasing our country and the USA aboard the Rocky Mountaineer train. So my grandmother's trip, that was a special one I'll never ever forget. She got to meet great grandchildren she had never met before, because she was scared of flying by that point. She was in her mid-80s, and we brought her to Calgary, and she got to see the family one last time. So it was a wonderful time. And as I mentioned, Rocky Mountaineer, you're only traveling by day, and at night you're sleeping in hotels. We're going to be staying in Glenwood Springs. And for those of you familiar with that area or unfamiliar with that area, Glenwood Springs is on the route to Aspen. So if you've ever gone skiing at Aspen, you've driven right through Glenwood Springs on the way through. This natural hot spring resort city has quite a history, quite a tourist history to it, because back in 1887, when the first train started arriving there, bringing passengers, people were going to soak in these natural springs. Coal mining, farming, agriculture are also part of this local area. But today, most people go for the springs, and our hotel is just a short walk away from the springs. The springs are open until 9 o'clock at night. So hopefully you get a chance to get down and do that. And then, of course, next day you're back on the train again. And Rocky Mountaineer is truly about the memories. It's about the people you meet, the people you see. I've been traveling on trains now for 25 years. In the 25 years I've been creating tours, I've met people from all over the world, and it's just spectacular how you stay in touch with someone, because it's not like you're just meeting someone walking by. You've got all day for 2 full days with these people, and have fantastic, interesting conversations. So happy to see old friends. And as you cross over the mountain pass and descend down towards Moab, you'll be losing a bit of elevation, and you'll be getting this scenery. I always say this Moab area is a desert that looks like a dessert. I know when I say the word desert, a lot of people think of, this flat, sandy area with snakes. It's not like that at all. It's mountainous, it's beautiful. And as you can see, it's not just this layer cake with icing on top of it that I've got in this photo. The real dessert that I'm always referring to, and when I'm in Moab, it's a regular every night. Donuts, everything's a donut in Arches. And as you can see, this is a photo of Wilson Arch, but I've got many other arch photos to see. Arches National Park has named this. It's an Entrada sandstone formation, so type of sandstone. It's the Entrada sandstone that has this red hue to it. And over time, Mother Nature, due to wind and water, has carved out these tunnels, these windows, these viewpoints into another world all the way through. Now the train arrives already at noon. And because you're arriving at noon, you've got an afternoon. So we're providing you with a tour into Canyonlands National Park. Now, if you've never heard of Canyonlands National Park, it's truly better than the Grand Canyon. And I'm not kidding when I say that. Look at this view. This is a photo that I took sitting up looking down into the park. And it's just the most spectacular view. I was truly surprised. I had never heard of Canyonlands National Park, like many people. I was approaching, and then this was the approach. These were some of the photos I took as we got closer to the edge. The reason I think it's better than the Grand Canyon is the view of the Grand Canyon is spectacular, but this is Grand Canyon without the people. So this is my wife, Heather, just sitting down, enjoying this spectacular serenity, this amazing view, and great place to enjoy. So that's an afternoon tour. We'll then head back to Moab. And for those of you who haven't been to Moab in the past 5 years, there's a couple of brand new hotels that are definitely worth seeing. So the Hoodoo by Hilton, this is one of the new ones. It's just been built. Spectacular hotel, well worth the visit. And even some of the other hotels have been nicely upgraded because everyone knows Rocky Mountaineer's coming to town now. Rocky Mountaineer, of course, are only working with the very best hotels. And this is one of them. So we'll be spending a couple of nights here in Moab. Next day, you enter Arches National Park. Right after entering Arches National Park, you make that nice little climb on the road. And this is really one of the first viewpoints coming in. As I said, I've been here over 20 times, and I've spent so much time here. One of the best ways I personally have enjoyed Arches National Park is on my bike, because everything is slow motion, my pedal bike. And you're cycling up into this area. It's in slow motion. I took this picture here of the three gossips. So if I'll zoom in on the three gossips so you can see them, looks like three people always telling a story. And, you know, the three gossips are probably gossiping about right now, hey, Rocky Mountaineer's coming to town. Have you heard the news? And I was talking to one of my friends in Moab a couple of months ago, and he's really excited. The whole town is really excited. This is a world-class train that provides some of the best service in the world coming to this little town. And Moab itself, it's the size of Jasper National Park, or just size of Jasper in Canada. So for those of you who have traveled with us before, this is a small town like that. There's restaurants, there's hotels, coffee shops. It's an adventure place to go. So if you want to go mountain biking or dirt biking or quadding or anything like that, it really is a gateway into this incredible area. Some of the must-sees of the area. Delicate Arch. This Delicate Arch is halfway through Arches National Park. You make a stop, go for a little walk, and you can see this beautiful view. This is my nephew when I was down there, and I was teaching him how to make an arch himself, you know, how to make a donut. And of course, that night we had to have donuts for dessert, just for the fun of it. And on the right, you've got my brother and my brother-in-law. We went for a hike. That's Landscape Arch. As you can see, it's getting very narrow. Used to be able to walk right underneath it. And as the rocks are starting to come down, they now have it fenced off that you can't get too close to Landscape Arch. But one of these incredible views, incredible arches that you have in this national park. Now, I've been in this area, you know, with my nephews, my brother, my sister, my dad, all different times. I've taken my wife down a couple of times. I've gone on my own mountain biking, and of course, guiding guests is a way to see it too. And commercially, I brought guests up to all of these spots here. My brother and sister and I at one of the windows. And as you can see by looking at the windows, they're accessible. They're accessible for all. So there is a primitive trail you can take through the desert, but of course, where the buses can pull in and drop guests off, there is a nice, easy walkway all the way there. And I brought my own. This is called Windows Arch. So there's a north window and a south window. This one I took while riding my bike through the area. And as you can see, there's a trail, a road on behind Balanced Rock. And I kept looking around just to make sure that Balanced Rock was still standing. I would say, get into this area and view this area while you still can, while it's all still standing, before these topple over. It's just a matter of time. We don't know if it's going to be 100 years, 1,000 years, whenever it's going to be, but get in and see all of this now. Now, from Moab, there is a lot to see in various areas, or a lot to see in the area. Monument Valley is a half-day drive away. Dead Horse Point State Park is 20 minutes away. Canyonlands National Park is an hour. Arches National Park is right close at hand. But there's other places that you've heard of before, Lake Powell, the Grand Canyon, Bryce Canyon, Zion, and of course, Las Vegas. You can fly into or out of Las Vegas to do this tour, or you could fly in and out of Salt Lake City. So there's so much for you to see. Monument Valley, this is a photo of Monument, and the Navajo First Nations offer guided tours through their land to show you how incredible it is. And you're going to learn firsthand from the Navajo how special it is to them and this holy land of theirs. Grand Canyon has 3 entrances in to see the canyon. Grand Canyon National Park has the north entrance. This was taken from the north entrance. I've also been on the west entrance. The west entrance is the one that has the glass skywalk. West entrance is probably best done as a day trip from Las Vegas because it's a couple of hours away from Las Vegas. You can tour the Grand Canyon West, walk the skywalk, and head on down. And of course, Grand Canyon South is probably some of the best views of the area. My tips for Bryce Canyon: get up early and go and watch the sunrise. There are a couple of hotels out close walking distance from Inspiration Point. And if you stay at those hotels, get up early, walk down to Inspiration Point. As the sun rises, each one of these hoodoos lights up like a candle, just a little bit of light on top of it. And just shortly after the sun had gone up, I took this photo of Bryce Canyon, but definitely well worth it. And of course, starting and ending locations, Las Vegas, it's a city for everyone, a city with everything that you can see and do. Great place to start, or great place to end your journey. And with that, I just want to give you some phone numbers for you to reach us. We're right here to book your trip.